Aries, welcome back. I'm here to do the reading for the week of May 11th, and as usual, we'll start with the charts. Now, this week can feel like the calm after the storm, and actually, as the week progresses towards the full moon on the 18th, things actually improve because the planets start all moving into really nice relationships with each other. And we have a really nice grand water trine on the 17th. But every planet, with the exception of Jupiter, will be in either a trine or a sextile to each other. So you'll find that the energy over the week gets a little bit more grounded, a little bit softer, less frenetic, certainly less aggressive. So here we have Venus. This is the chart for the moment, and I'll show you the one for the 17th or the 18th, which is actually really nice. So Venus has cleared her fight with Pluto and Saturn and the nodes, and she's just kind of like, once you've run the gauntlet, you need a minute to collect yourself before you can move forward. So she's just kind of chilling. She is in a positive relationship with Mars, so at the end of the day, you might start getting clues or thoughts or communications that showed you why this had to happen. Things may start becoming a little bit clearer as to why this fight, whatever this fight dusted up here, Venus and Mars are now starting to understand why it had to happen. Now on the 15th, and you see the sun here is in a nice relationship to Saturn and Pluto. So these energies here are nice and constructive and very peaceful. Because Taurus doesn't want to fight. He just wants to, he will if you provoke him, but he's not being provoked right now. So that's good. Now let's move to the 18th here because this is actually really nice. And there's one teeny little watch out I want to give you. But the rest of it is pretty good. So Venus leaves Aries on the 15th, and Mars leaves Gemini on the 15th. So Venus into Taurus and Mars into Cancer, which means that when Mars leaves Gemini, you'll stop feeling as frazzled, stop feeling like you're getting downloads constantly, or you don't know, maybe you go left and then right and right and left. Things will calm down a little bit more when Mars goes into Cancer. And of course, Venus going into Taurus is kind of like the homecoming after the war. Now, you see here, Neptune is in a trine to the North Node, which will be in a trine to the Moon. So this energy here will be very nice. And they are both sextiling this up here, the South Node. So all of those planets, the ones that have been giving us a really hard time for the past few weeks, will actually be working in harmony. Now we have this Jupiter in Sagittarius, kind of like the odd man out of the conversation right now, which is funny because, Jupiter is the god of the gods. So he's kind of like not involved in the meeting, boss on vacation kind of thing, but it's one of those things where the boss likes to check in and be like, hey, don't forget to do this. So he might send some reminders that's great that you're all getting along and everything's working properly, but do not forget that we can only behave authentically. We can only be doing things that we really believe in. Does this fit into our proper belief system? So he'll be checking in, perhaps in an annoying way. This may come to you through either a Sagittarius or through a professor or through a foreigner. Someone in your life will embody this energy, and they're going to be kind of a constant reminder as everything seems to be calming down that don't forget why you're doing this in the first place. Now, the other thing I want to call your attention to on the 18th is this Venus conjunct Uranus. Now, this is a breakup aspect. So if I had it once, I was on the phone with the guy I was seeing, everything was totally fine, and literally 10 minutes later we had broken up. So this can come out, could be like a train wreck situation. It won't obviously apply to everyone, but just remember on the 18th, as this starts to approach, Venus is happy to be home, but she's also got new new boundaries, new battle scars. And when she gets to Uranus, she's like, "Nah, I'm not having it." So just be careful here. Um that you may actually meet somebody out of the blue. This is unexpected creative love energy, which can go in one direction or it can go in the other. The only thing you can never predict is how Uranus is going to play out. So just remember that that's going on, and maybe lay low in those days. So let's take a look at the cards. Okay, hello. Let's do the cards for Aries for the week of May 11th, 2019. Cards for Aries for the week of May 11th, 2019. What energy can Aries expect? Uh-oh. But remember, that's not always bad. Rejection is God's protection. I know, like many of you, I've been talking to a lot of people during the week, have had rough situations come up, like definitely a lot of unpleasant things. I am now, as I said in that astrology part, very nice. And hey, look at this. This is kind of weird, right? I was thinking this when he fell down. I was like, doesn't that look kind of like John Lennon? And then the Imagine card came out. That's pretty funny. But there's also like, look at that cloud, look at all the clouds that are in there and the creative, sort of like drawing from the universe. And even this one, which is an unfinished symphony, which means there's still some business to type. You see how all the clouds are in there? I really think this has to do with that trine at the end of the week that I mentioned. Anyway, as I was saying, cards for Aries for the week of May 11th, 2019, please. I had a whole bunch of stuff go, it's too many, just one, please, go south. And I was unhappy. Oh, cool. Love it when that happens. It's the key card. Doesn't mean I know what it means because it's in Dutch, so I will still have to look it up. But I had stuff go south too. During the course of the end of last week, like yesterday I had some really divine things happen. Like I had reached out to someone that I found on the internet to get advice on a situation, and then I brought it to a friend of mine who said, let me introduce you to another friend of mine who was in a completely different part of the world, who was best friends with the person that I had written on the internet, you know? So dots starting to connect as to like, this crappy thing had to happen to get you to this person. And the confirmation is that they know each other, right? So there was all sorts of like sort of impossible things happening that was like, okay, so now I see why that had to happen. And I feel like that's going to come up for many of you this week, especially with Venus and Mars working together. Sorry. Three cards, or two more cards, please, for Aries for the week of May 11th. So you may be starting to get some information on why this happened and how now you can move forward into the next phase. So one more card, please, for Aries, week of May 11th. Whatever this is really nice, very heavy divine energy here. Lovely. So you remember, and I'm going to have to go look this one up, but you remember on the monthly, the 1st to the 15th, it had like kind of a crappy beginning, but then it ended up at the Empress, you know, so things are definitely on a very nice path. There is still some work to be done, which is this unfinished symphony. And this is the card of the path. So we are finding the path home, which is very nice. Let me look this one up and I will be right back. Okay, so here's something really cool. I don't know if you remember in the May reading, there was that Egyptian eagle, kind of the phoenix, and it was predicting that changes were coming. This card is the card immediately after that one. So this tells me that we may have had kind of like this parenthesis in the middle of our path. It was not pleasant, kind of like a storm. You know how you can go out for a hike and there can be like one of those flash storms? Kind of that. And as I was saying before in the astrology, this is sort of like calm after the storm energy this week. And what it says here, it says that you have moved to the next level on the journey. This is the path of the soul. So you are definitely back to moving forward. We had this moment where things fell apart, felt like they were going in every which way. But this card actually reassures that even if we don't understand why things are happening and why sometimes it can feel like everything's falling apart, that actually there is reason to everything. You know, there's a famous saying that says that life is understood backwards but must be lived forwards. And that's because the nodes move through the sky backwards. So you actually only see things clearly as you get further and further away from them, which is, you know, so you can see this path. You can't tell if you're moving towards this path or if you're actually finally understanding the perspective as you get further away from it. So it's sort of like a double way of looking at the path. You know, you can see where your destination is, but also as you move away from it, things become clearer because you can see them more objectively. Now this card, which also talks about the path, you see it's like written there, says that whatever got suspended, whatever you let go to the wayside, or that you're just procrastinating and not doing it, to please tie up any loose ends that you have going on right now, professionally, personally, whatever is still hanging on your to-do list, like gotta take care of that, just get it done with, because you're gonna need all of your energy. As you know, this is kind of this stuff right here. So whatever you're like juggling on, just do something with those coins. Either put them down, plant them, but stop juggling. So this piece here is asking you to please take care of any loose ends, because you have there's a lot of road ahead, and it's really level up time. You know, it's like this is a homecoming. It's like you're about to cross the finish line. You're about to cross the threshold. There's still ways to go, because as you can see, they're still heading through that, or they haven't reached these 4 wands yet, but there is a sense of stability. There is a sense of solidity, that the 4 corner, you have laid the cornerstones for whatever it is that's to come next. Now, also, can you see here how much blue there is? You know, so it's like blue sky thinking here. Now this card talks about having ideas and having creative intuitions, or feeling misunderstood, right? That you may be in a period where the things that you're talking about, people are like, you sound like a nut, or that it just doesn't make sense. And so you may be feeling kicked out of your group, or not necessarily finding your people yet. But all ideas, what this says is actually ideas that are not able to be understood by the masses may just also be ahead of their time. So if you have some sort of creative intuition, and again, I think this speaks to the creative trine that's coming up on the 17th and 18th. You please trust whatever creative intuitions you get over the coming week, you know, particularly when Venus moves into Taurus, because she's going to be finally able to like let herself go and to start thinking freely. And that Uranus may not just be a breakup aspect, it also may just be that you have like an absolutely genius creative idea. So pay attention to your creative impulses this week. Pay attention to any new
any sort of new gift from above. You know, pay attention also to how you feel when your energy starts feeling like it's overflowing in a positive way. That's when you're really, really connected into this vibe here. So and since the nodes are involved in that trine, whatever that creative intuition or whatever comes to you from above this week is really, really helpful for your future, for your personal evolution, for your professional evolution, for your relationships evolution. So I believe you'll be getting some really nice downloads over the course of the week. Tie up whatever, you know, whatever got kicked up from the dust and kind of flipped you on your head and has you like, do I do this? Do I do that? Just get it done. And start to get some perspective on what has happened over in this parenthesis. Like, how can I flip whatever negative happened? How can I flip it into something positive? Or how can I just get rid of it? Like, what do I need to do to get this off my desk so that I can get back to paying attention to the messages? Look at how he's getting, you see all those heads kind of like speaking to him. You want to pay attention to all, doesn't sound very nice, but pay attention to the voices in your head that are speaking to you in a positive manner, that are speaking to you about things you can do, things you can create. Pay no attention to your negative self-talk ever as a general rule, because it's not there to help you. When the voices in your head are talking crap and are trying to disencourage you, just put them aside. Follow your creative instincts this week. Pay attention to what it is that comes to you creatively. They are all divinely inspired. You know, spend some time in the clouds too. We've also just had such a rough, energetic week or 2 weeks. Some of us 7 years, but the past one was a real terrible sort of tempest. Let's enjoy, like really enjoy this calming, peaceful, blue, oh, that's funny, I'm wearing a blue sweater. Peaceful, blue, creative energy that's a gift to us after having been thrashed on the sea, okay? I will see you for the second half of the month and for the full moon reading. Hope you are doing well. Thanks for watching. Bye.